Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today we're going to be going over the updated depth chart for the San Antonio Spurs after trading for All-Star De'Aaron Fox, and will be, I think, probably one of the best trades at the trade deadline, if you ask me. The fact that the Spurs only, gave up. I mean, they gave up 3 first-round picks to get De'Aaron Fox, which some of the first-round picks, definitely. Like, if you look at the first 2 first-round picks that are going to Sacramento in this trade, they don't look very good. The last one, I think, does. I mean, this year they got Charlotte. The first-round pick they got was Charlotte's first-round pick this year. San Antonio gave to Sacramento, and that pick is top 10 protected. And Charlotte has like the second worst record in the East. The Kings are not gonna get that pick. So don't even count that as a draft pick that the Kings are getting. So really it's 2 first-round picks that they're getting. So if we're looking at it's 2 first-round picks for De'Aaron Fox, one of them is a 2027 first-round pick that belongs to San Antonio. And that 2027 first-round pick, we're talking about way more experienced Victor Wembanyama with De'Aaron Fox and some of the young guys like Steph Castle and the other guys on the Spurs team. I'm sure other players will come to join to play with Wemby and Fox by then in 2027. The Spurs might be at the top of the Western Conference in 2027. I see them being a top 4 team in the Western Conference in 2027. So that doesn't seem like a very good draft pick for the Sacramento Kings. And then the last one was the only really good draft pick, I think, is 2031 Minnesota draft pick, which really don't know what's going to be going on in Minnesota in 6 years. Anthony Edwards very well could be on a different team. Who knows? And if he is, their team might go down the drain. Who knows? And if so, that could be a very good draft pick for the Kings. And I really think that's the only draft pick, first round wise, that was a good addition for the Kings. And if you ask me, I think the Spurs got a one-time All-Star that is such a great point guard and someone who will 100% sign an extension with the team and get that extension done with San Antonio. And all they gave up were a couple solid players like Zach Collins and gave up Zach Collins and gave up Trey Jones. They gave up a couple solid players who were solid off the bench and really only gave up 2 first-round picks. One is a first-round pick that won't even be a good draft pick if everything goes the Spurs' way. And then the other will be a solid draft pick potentially, but who knows, 6 years down the road. And then 3 second-round picks for De'Aaron Fox. And if you look at it like that, a very great trade for the Spurs. And the Spurs managed to keep Devin Vassell. I'm surprised that, the Bulls or the Kings didn't get the Bulls would have got it. That the Bulls, since the Spurs players in this trade went to the Bulls, like Trey Jones and Zach Collins going to Chicago, I'm surprised that Devin Vassell or Stephon Castle or Keldon Johnson or Jeremy Sohan weren't involved in this deal. You would have thought for sure at least maybe they would have asked for Jeremy Sohan or Keldon Johnson, and the fact that they kept all 4 of those on this team, adding in De'Aaron Fox, is dangerous. That's another big W for this trade for the Spurs. Let's go over what the depth chart looks like after this deal. At point guard, we have I still got Chris Paul as the point guard, and I got De'Aaron Fox as the shooting guard. I think it can go vice versa. Fox can be the point. Chris Paul can be the shooting guard. Those suggesting Chris Paul go to the bench, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, but that's not something I think San Antonio should do if you ask me. I mean, really, if you ask me, Chris Paul has done such a good job this season, has had such great chemistry with Victor Wembanyama and the rest of this Spurs team. Don't mess that up. Don't mess that up by putting him on the bench. I think him and Fox will be able to play good basketball together. I wouldn't mess it up. I got Fox at the 1 And Fox, it's vice versa. It can be 1-2. I mean, Fox can be at the 1, Paul can be at the 2, or Paul can be at the 1, and Fox can be at the 2. At the 3, I got Devin Vassell. At the 4, I got former teammate De'Aaron Fox. It'll be good to see these two guys reunited. We saw a little bit of that in this trade. You know, Zach LaVine reunites with DeMar DeRozan in this trade, and then De'Aaron Fox reunites with Harrison Barnes. And we also saw quite a bit of that in the AD Luka trade, because in the AD Luka trade, I mean, Luka reunited with like Dorian Finney-Smith and Christian Wood, and AD reunited with a couple players in Dallas that he played with in LA. So I mean, yeah, it's, we've seen in these blockbuster trades players, former teammates reuniting with each other. But so Harrison Barnes would be at the 4. Obviously, we know who's the 5. It's Charles Benton. I'm just kidding. Victor Wembanyama's the 5. Off the bench, I'm going with the backup point guard being Jordan McLaughlin. I like his addition. I really do. He's a great three-point shooter, shooting 47%. That can be a good asset for the Spurs. You need a new backup point guard with Trey Jones being gone. I think Jordan McLaughlin will be getting backup point guard minutes. Then at the backup shooting guard, you got Stephon Castle, stud. And then in the backup 3, you got Keldon Johnson. Backup 4, Jeremy Sohan. And then another guy who will get more minutes, if you ask me, on this Spurs team with Zach Collins getting traded is Charles Bassey. So guys like Bassey and Jordan McLaughlin, I think, take advantage on the Spurs team with Collins and Jones going to Chicago. And then off the bench, 11th man, you got Julian Champagnie and Malachi Branham. And that's it for the depth chart of this team. That's really it. I mean, they got quite a few roster spots open. And the reason why, I mean, because they had one roster spot open before this trade happened, and then they trade 3 players in this deal and get one, and that opens up another 2. So let me know your thoughts on the San Antonio Spurs trade that is sending Fox to San Antonio. This is a video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.